guilty of not having better hobbies.
Best thing to do. Best thing to do. Travel.
Yeah, indeed. Wow, that's a lot of participants. I'm really excited, and I hope I have something worthy to say today.
So we're quite excited because this part of the like what really Fractal does is something a lot of the team members maybe it's known at a little higher leadership, but a lot of team members really don't know what's being done by Fractal. So I think when you tell us, it's going to be opening a lot of eyes for a lot of people. Achha, this is something that's possible in house also because we aren't
Yeah.
able. So because in one of the Meet session and also when we had a visit at Sokrati, we got a little understanding of it and we got really excited. So I
Yeah.
think this session is definitely going to be helpful. I think we can quickly start. Just for the rest of the team, thank you so much for joining in, Aksha, for doing this for us in such a short notice. A quick intro to Aksha. She's an experienced designer by profession and a problem solver by nature. She has about 12 years of professional journey and has worked across disciplines of experience design and marketing. Something that I spoke about earlier, I think upon beyond work, she packing her bags and getting on air. This passion has taken her to about 38 countries so far, and we'll keep another 5 minutes to understand how do you manage to do so much travel at the end. And it's all yours, Akshat. Thank you so
Uh, Thank you, Megha. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Aksha, as y'all have already heard. I have been working with Fractaling for over 6 years now, and this is actually my second stint with Dentsu. So I'm a Dentsu old timer. I spent around 2.5 years with Isobar, and I had finished working with them around 2015, which is when I went to study design thinking, and I switched over my careers from digital marketing to, design, experience design. And it was still delightful to come back to Dentsu because they had recently acquired Fractaling that time. And if any of you are old timers here would know Shams, and he was my boss at Isobar, and he introduced me to the co-founders of Fractalink, and my way back was also through my older contacts at Dentsu. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and I've loved being a part of this group. I haven't really worked very closely with many people from your side of business, but in the past, I have worked with a lot of ad agencies, with Low Linters, with DDB Mudra, and then in Isobar. So yeah, do understand advertising fairly well. So yeah, excited to share this side of the story. So having been a person who moved from advertising to product design, it was an interesting move, and would love to share what made me do this and why I find this exciting. And of course, feel free to ask questions, and we can keep this conversational as well. So don't worry for me to, finish a whole thing and then ask me questions at the end. We can keep this very fluid. I'm going to share my screen because, yeah, like all of us, I have a deck, and would love to take you all through some of these things. Do tell me when you all see my screen.
we can see.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Gonna go full screen mode. Uh, this is our office in Devchand House on first floor. If you haven't yet been, please do visit. These days, actually, it's been occupied by a lot of group companies. We're not the only ones using it. In fact, we're using the least amount of space because post COVID, we realized we are a very effective remote company. So we've been really using the remote life really well. And I think so are y'all. So yeah, we love our office space. It's a open layout office and super colorful. And we have these breakout rooms and everything. And actually, our co-founders designed the office space because by education, all of them are architects. So they were very excited to design it themselves the way we needed it to be. So that's a little about us. So Fractal has been around for 13 years, out of which the last 7 years have been with Dentsu. So that's our story. Um, so yeah, this is this is a funny way to say hello. I don't know if y'all are noticing in the picture, these two men are trying to drag a cart of stones with square wheels, and of course, it's looking really difficult. But they've not made the time to talk to someone who has better ideas to share with them. So yeah, let's always be open to someone else's opinion and sort of their point of view about things, because solutions can come from anywhere, right? So that's sort of the premise of design thinking. uh, I wanted to show you all this fun video about horrible experiences, and hopefully you all will feel it. Tell me if the audio is there.
Thanks. You sure? Yeah. Username?
Yeah, I do.
Nick M? No. NM 1983? No. Zandy Pops? Sorry. Yeah. Zandy Pops? No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode? Oh, it's GU749ZT. Welcome back, Nick Forever. Oh, okay. Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based product for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation the design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear, or biological weapons. Tick. I'm afraid you've timed down. What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse. Oh, yeah. Hey. Just one loaf, sir? Yeah, we just. What's your username? It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me? It's not even a word. Okay, how about this one? You know what? Forget it. This one? I have a pot of mice. You're in. Great. I'm in. £8.85. It's supposed to be 98 pence. That's express delivery. What's that? Oh well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's standard. A standard delivery. That's £4.99. Why? Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option. You know what? I think I'll risk it. It is quite close to the sell by date. Don't care. 98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection. Well, I need it now, obviously. Oh, okay. You want the take home today price? Then that's £3.27. You know what? I'm going to go. Come back soon. I won't.
So this is a video Google Analytics made to talk about, how user journeys break sometimes, and we don't really even realize why a user is not sticking around. We think we've done our best, thing by putting together a digital solution or an application or a platform, but we don't really know where it's breaking, and that's where design thinking comes into picture. And it's actually what we do as a bread and butter, which is understand a user's entire journey, figure out the problem points, and solve those problems. So, today, what I'll do is I'll spend some time talking about this process in a lot of detail, because you all will also be able to apply it in your business in different ways as you may see fitting. It's actually more than a profession, it's sort of a mantra or a way of thinking. So it could be something nice for you all to also have as a tool in your box of tools. And later on, we can talk a little about what type of clients we have and what type of work we do. Uh, so let's dive into what is design thinking. By definition, by Tim Brown from IDEO, he says that design thinking is a human centered approach to innovation, and it takes care of business needs, people needs, and technology possibilities, and it creates a solution that is actually viable. So basically, it means we talk to people and ask them what they want. We talk to businesses and ask them, what do you want to make money out of? And then we see if there's a technology available to bridge this gap. So that's really what we do in our day-to-day lives. And Design thinking is nothing but thinking like a designer, like a problem solver. And this is exactly what I just spoke about, which is taking inspiration from real people, using market opportunities at the right moment, thinking about tech constraints. And, of course, blue sky thinking is great. And, we all love to think out of the box. But uh, especially in the world that I come from, it's important for us to know what is technology capable of, and the current tech stack of the client, what can it hold. And then looking at all the touch points. So our work doesn't really end on the app screen or the website screen. So if we're talking e-commerce, we also have to think about how does the delivery reach the user, and then what happens in the middle. Like, are we communicating with the user? Are we showing them a tracker? Are we keeping them posted about delays, etc.? Those are all parts of an experience, and they may not even happen on the main app screen, but it still needs to happen, and we still need to solve for those problems. So thinking about all touch points is as important as making the screen look pretty. uh, and one of the biggest tools that the industry uses is the double diamond. So it's called the double diamond literally because of the shape, like the diamond. There are two diamonds next to each other, and each of those diamonds mean different things. So the first diamond is the problem diamond, and the second diamond is the solution one. And the reason why the shape that is chosen is the diamond is because, as you can see, the first half of the diamond always is diverging, which means it is opening its mouth and it's about absorbing more. And when it is converging and closing its mouth, it's about defining. So in each stage, first we absorb, like take in all the knowledge we can. And the next thing we do is define, so that we don't go all over the place with all the knowledge, and we focus on what we need to do. And this happens in both the problem stage and the solution stage. So in the problem stage, the the divergence happens when we need to know what are our users doing, why are they finding this hard, what is broken, what is going wrong. So we're looking for all the possible situations. Then we're looking at which is the most impactful problem in our users life today, what do we want to solve for. So it is uh, converging, and we're defining the problem we want to solve. In the next diamond, we're thinking about solutions. So we're ideating lots of solutions. And then we're prototyping the solutions in the end of the diamond, which we think will work and which our users are accepting. So that's the double diamond process, and it's a very popular one. There are lots of various interpretations of double diamond. And because the world has so many interpretations, we also have one. So this is Fractal Inc.'s double diamond. It's actually a triple diamond because we realize that there is more to a product than just thinking of it in two stages, two large stages. We realize that it's more of a loop, and we need to constantly follow that loop. Otherwise, the product is going to still not be constantly learning from the user's needs. So we start with empathizing, which is understanding what the user wants. Then we define what problem we're going to solve. We ideate and prototype. And this middle diamond, for purposely, we've made it bigger in size because more ideas leads to more possibility of finding the right idea. So we believe in ideating a lot and prototyping a lot of ideas, and then we put this to test, and then the loop continues. We start empathizing again. So testing is taking our ideas back to the user, getting their feedback, and then using that input to again define, ideate, prototype. So it's a continuous circle, so to say. Uh, and the buzzword in the industry, I'm sure y'all are hearing it as well, is disruption. And just as 10 years ago, clients came and said we want to make a viral meme. Today, clients come and say we want to do disruption, and they're like, even then we did not know how to make viral memes or viral videos. We always told our clients that you make a video, you keep all the elements in it that are right. Whether it goes viral or not is not in our hands. It's the same with disruption. You follow the right methodology, you follow what is important to the user, you follow the right path. but you don't know if it's going to lead to disruption because you don't know if your users are going to accept that product. So hence we nobody knows when is it coming. So yeah, don't know. And neither you nor us can tell our clients how to achieve disruption. What we can do is guide them in understanding what is disruption and what it isn't. So, disruption is not riding a wave of new tech trends and making a better product. So, it's not saying that I want to Uberify my company. So, a lot of clients come to us saying that as well, where, Uberifying something means making something on demand. So, I want to turn my business model into an on demand business model, or I want to make an e-commerce platform because I believe my users will want to buy this online. So a lot of this happened especially in the pandemic because clients suddenly decided that they wanted to digitize a lot of the manual processes, and we worked with a lot of banks in digitizing a lot of operational work that was happening physically because nobody was coming to office physically. So we had to create solutions that could make people work online and do those processes online instead of in the office scenarios. So those are worthwhile creations, but they're not disruption. You're actually just digitizing a physical process. But if you were creating a new business model out of it, like if bank turned into something else and created a new money stream out of it, then it would be a disruption. Or you served a market that was not adequately served. So like UPI, for example, got unbanked people online, and that is disruption. But like UPI on its base of just creating payment transfers between two people, that isn't disruption. So disruption, like I said, comes from adoption and not just from the fact that you digitize a process. And thinking about creating value for a journey that no one ever thought you could create fresh value for. So that can be called as disruption. So um, an example in this zone is a legacy incumbent. A legacy incumbent is basically someone who's been around, uh, is a market leader, and what they do in the name of disruption is constantly make something better, but on the same lines. They don't think completely out of the box. And then someone else comes by and then does it completely differently and in the least expected way. And one of the finest things that happened when Blackberries got redundant and Apple came along, one of the things that Steve Jobs said in his releases was all he wanted to think about was if the device is a certain size, it's 4 inches tall, why is half your screen buttons? I don't want to see buttons when I just want to look at content. So the buttons can come and go, right? And nobody had thought of that until then. So that is a disruptive idea. But like changing the buttons or like flapping the buttons, closing the buttons is not disruption, which is what a lot of other players were doing in the market at that time. And along the way, even the current solutions will get eventually disrupted. So people say that listening devices such as the Echo or the Google Home, etc., will completely replace the need to use the phone as much as we use today. I mean, of course, we're still not all living in smart homes, and it's a few decades away. But when it happens, so we will all forget why we used to sit and type when we could just dictate to a device. So it's going to become more ambient around us, and we won't even realize when we make that transition. And that would be disruption because suddenly one tool that we held in our hand will disappear. And disruption can come in the most unobvious ways, like something that you're not even expecting, and it's right there, it's glaring at us, but it's an obvious that we've not been looking at. So an example is there was this case study. Again, we've not done this, but somebody out there has done this beautiful work where they wanted to improve a patient's experience in a hospital. Now a patient in a hospital, think about it. The patient is lying down and is constantly in this, fully horizontal position or in a reclined position, uh, is feeling depressed because they're either anxious about what's coming or they are just in pain. So, how do you make this patient feel better? And this is how typically hospitals look, right? I mean, we wish Indian hospitals look even this good, but let's assume mostly around the world hospitals look like this. But this is still depressing because you're constantly looking at empty walls and you're smelling the smell that is there in the floor of some kind of disinfectant, and everybody around you is in pain. How do you instantly uplift someone's mood in a scenario like this? Like, it was is a very simple idea, but all they did was they they made art on the ceilings. Like, this, what you see here in the second image in the middle, is actually just screens, and it's just art. It's not even the actual ceiling of the hospital. Like, of course, hospitals are many story stalls, so this is not like a penthouse or anything, but they just did this visual sort of art that would keep somebody engaged. And this is, you're constantly looking at the ceiling, and if you're able to look at something that soothes you, relaxes you, makes you get a feeling that you're looking outside, it suddenly uplifts a person's mood. And it's so simple and it's so unexpected, and they saw great results. So if they had looked at the, like, if regular folks would look at problems in a way of understanding from the user, like, what is going wrong? I'm just tired of looking at this ceiling and being boxed in this place. I want to go out. That's what patients usually tell you. And this created miracles in the way patients felt about being in those spaces. And lot of parallel observations. So this is called biomimicry, where some things in nature give us ideas. So, like, this buggy thing which is there on plants, we always come back with these on our pants when we go for a trek, were the leading thing that led to the idea of a Velcro. Like, it's all biomimicry. We've learned so much from nature and we've applied it into design. Similarly, cats and a lot of cat category animals have this night vision, which left to how we need to have reflectors on highways, and how the paint in the stripes of the road is going to reflect, so that even in the darkness, if there are no street lights, you'll still have a proper knowledge of the road. So these are all things we've learned from nature. I mean, basic things like even the shape of an aeroplane is inspired by the shape of a bird, because nature's taught us that if you have long wings and a small tail, it'll fly, and it does. And just thoughtless actions. So one is, of course, asking the user what they want. Well, and another is sort of learning their habits. So, like, understanding how people think and learning from those. So, this was a very funny example of uh, a running field where there were two-tone colors on the street, and nobody was told that they can't walk on the pink side. But by default, you assume that if there are two sides to it, I can't just walk through it. You just walk either on this side or on that side. And it was amazing how everybody followed the path without being asked to. And this is how, people started getting ideas of how to get people to be in a lane, like walking lanes, running lanes, texting lanes, uh, incoming, going out, outgoing traffic. Like, all these ideas of stripes, etc., have come from what people have shown in their behavior. They've not just been made as rules. Similarly, this is an interesting thing that most of us do with our tea bags on our mugs. And this is exactly how these companies got ideas of how to give you tea the soaking devices for the tea. Like it all came from human behavior. We were already doing it. They just made it more fun for us. So like looking at the user, observing them is equally important. And this, of course, needless to say, a lot of us own clips like this. I anymore can't use them because I'm in my summer look. But yeah, like we teach creators a lot. This is another example. This actually, you can also go notice it on airports and outside big supermarkets. Walmart had this issue that people used to leave their carts near their car parking and not really keep it in a designated area. Now, one thing interesting that they observed and learned was people had this innate need to align the cart to something. So, like align it to the parapet of the tree, or keep it next to another cart, or keep it very, aligned to a line of the parking lot. If they align it to something and keep it on the side of something, they believe that they're not doing something wrong. So, all they wanted was a place to align their cart to. So, what Walmart did was they just removed all the disturbance from the middle of the parking lot, and they put these pillars. So people were like, okay, I must put my cart near the pillar. And Walmart was like, yeah, great. This is all we wanted you to do all along. So they gave the people something to align to, and it worked. So yeah, how do you think about disruptive ideation, or guiding customers into thinking about disruption of businesses? So uh, the formula here is simple: core, adjacent, and transformational. Core is saying that I have an existing product and I have existing clients. I want to give them something more in the same domain. Like I'm not going to stop banking and do something else. I'm going to still give banking solutions to my users, but I will do some innovations that makes banking feel easier. So that is core innovation. Adjacent innovation is expanding your business into a new offering that you did not earlier offer, or usually your competitors don't offer that. So like you're thinking a little beyond. Like the moment our banking apps start doing fun things like splitting bills, etc., they'll be thinking a little adjacent. They will not be doing the same old showing you statements, etc. And then transformational is doing something completely breakthrough and inventing something that did not exist in the market. So the market didn't even know they needed it. So, we've had cabs for long enough, but Uber was a breakthrough because we did not know you could have a cab service without owning cabs, and just getting people to order them and find them on a map. So that is a breakthrough versus if Uber today adds some more features, that wouldn't be a breakthrough, it would be more core. But when Uber decides to go into businesses like food delivery, they're like, okay, we have riders, we have drivers. We don't need to just ply people anymore. We can ply things and we can ply food. So that is more adjacent. So you're expanding your business's horizon and you're thinking like a new company. So that's how different disruptions go. uh yeah, we spoke about this. Just a little more detail to what happens in each of these steps. So if you're ever talking about us to any of your clients, you'll know a little more than ideate, define, prototype. You'll know a little real dope of our life. uh, so why is empathizing important? One of the things that even marketeers will say and admit is customer is different from us. We shouldn't live in a single sample syndrome, which is saying, oh, I don't like such a thing. Maybe we should do something else. But you're not the final end consumer. Even if you are, you're a part of that group, and that group needs to be heard. So, there are age gaps, generation gaps, their influence is different, their cognitive bandwidth is different. This is so important for us when we're designing apps and solutions. We literally have to think about what is their digital savviness, like will they get this function, will they be able to do this themselves? And then we have to decide features which are for the lowest hanging denominator, and then also make features for the advanced users. So balancing out, something like a critical function should be possible by anybody of any age. So to be able to design for that, we need to empathize with them. And this is a very popular one that people will throw at you when you say that why do you need to do market research? Because if Henry Ford had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. But actually, what Henry Ford is not telling you, that there would still be an underlying uh, insight in that statement. When people say faster horses, what needs to be read here is they want to get to places faster. And he could have still asked people about it for making his car, but uh, we genuinely, in our thinking process, believe that asking users for innovation is not the right way to find innovation. I don't think that's true, because we're not looking for solutions from users. We're looking for problems from users. So long as they can tell us their problems and we have the right ammunition to find answers to those problems, we can still innovate using, market research or user studies. Uh, yeah. And one of the ways we do this is we prepare personas. So we don't do target audience in a brief format, which is saying our target audience is between the age group of 25 to 55, which is everybody. And they are mildly digital savvy, and they want to get personal loan. Like, we don't do target audience in that slim format. What we do is we break this 25 to 55 into 3 4 different people, because 25 will not do what 55 will do, and neither of them will perform the same actions the same way. So we create even smaller groups, and we create a persona out of those groups. Now, personas are very detailed. We actually give them a name, we give them a lot of background history to what is their motivation to even come deal with this product or look at this product. And we attach a lot of their needs, pains, delights to this situation. So if it's a student going abroad to study, what are their financial needs? They want to be able to pay friends who they go to dinner with, they want to be able to buy groceries and things like those. And those are those smaller nuances that lead us to insights. So not thinking as a group of audience, but as a user persona. This is one of the formats we use for writing a persona. uh, and then comes the state. So now, if we're done embracing the problems of this Patrick, and we feel for Patrick, now it's time to define which problem that Patrick has we'll be able to solve. So an example here, I'm going back to Uber, is do we remember how bad the sequence of experience was when we used to look for taxis earlier? Like, we would go below our office building, wave at tons of taxis, someone will stop, someone will not stop. uh, you spend a lot of time looking for them. And then when the taxi guy comes, if you're not familiar with the road, they could take you around town and you have no idea. So you could be traveling all over the place and paying more. And again, at the time of payment, they will want cash and you won't have change, and you're just angry at the end of it, but nobody is listening. What Uber did was heard of problems you had at each of these stages. So they thought about, okay, what are the problems during getting a taxi phase? Then what happens during the ride? Then at the point of payment? And then what happens after? And they thought about your pain points at each of those stages and solved for all of those pain points. So they said, okay, getting a taxi is difficult. Fine. We'll make this almost always available for you. Sometimes it will cost more, sometimes it will not cost more. But we understand that you have this problem of finding a taxi. Then you said that, oh, when the ride is going on, I don't even know if he's taking me in the right direction, and where's the route, etc. We said, okay, we'll give you real time location tracking, and your family can also see you travel in on that location, so you're safe and you're not being cheated. And that's fine. We've solved your pains, but we'll make it even more delightful. We'll give you some water and we'll give you some AC as well, and you will love your life again. And payment, don't worry. You already know the fare before you've ordered the taxi, and it's an online payment. So again, you don't need to worry about change and overpaying, etc. And then review. Both you will review them and the drivers, and the driver will also review you. So both of you ought to be at your best behavior. And this was possible because they broke down the entire journey into stages and thought about problems at each step of their journey. So this is how we actually apply this sort of a theory to journey mapping. So after we have created a persona, we go inside Rohit's persona, and then we look at what are his problems at different stages. So Rohit is trying to get a personal loan, and these are the steps he takes in his loan journey. And the emojis are depicting how he's feeling in that step. Oh, first step, he doesn't know what to do. Second step, he's anxious because the screen is asking him to make a decision that he's not ready to make yet. Next step, he's happy because it probably shows him an offer or something like that. Next step, he's sad again because he's confused about what to do. Calculators are coming up, but he doesn't know how to use this calculator. Then at the end, he's happy again because finally he's finished this journey. But our job here is to find all these anxious moments, sad moments, unsure moments of the user, find out what is making them break their journey at these stages, and come up with solutions for all the problems. So if they reach a certain point where they can't see the full price and hence they are confused, or there are some add-ons that have been added that we did not explain properly in the screen, all of these are instances that will tell us how to clarify, how to just use a screen to clarify everything to this user. So finding problems and solutions for every point in the journey. Um, and then we go into ideation. So now problems have been found, and we're like, okay, now we're sitting on a lot of problems. How do we solve this problem? So we say, okay, best way to get a good idea is to get lots of ideas. So we go into brainstorming. Now, this is something we do very heavily with our clients uh, in workshops. In fact, we also make our clients make personas with us because they are definitely closer to the user than we are. We're going to do a user research. We're going to talk to 10, 15 users and have a lifelong chat with them about, so why do you even do this? But the brand manager or the product owner in that company has done this for 15 years. They literally know what is going wrong, so they are also a good source to chat up with and extract great ideas and pain points. So brainstorming usually goes in like a, if it's a large group, we put them into smaller groups, give each group one problem statement, and that group needs to come up with the solution for that problem. And these are the guidelines for how a good brainstorming should go. So there is no judgment. Everybody's idea is a good idea until proven bad. Uh, Go for volume. Like, a group cannot just think of one idea and come back and say, we found it. You probably haven't. So you just need to think of more and more different ideas, and one conversation at a time, which is, if your group has 5 people, allow everybody room to speak and share their thoughts. Be visual. We hand everybody sketch pens and chart papers, and we expect everyone to sketch. And It's not difficult, right? You just need to make a rectangle and show us some ideas of what you think should be there, and write your ideas in headlines, which means you should be able to explain your idea in a few words instead of writing a story. So we're looking for few very quick ideations, um, and build on each other's ideas. So one of the exercises we do here is to tell people to talk with yes and instead of yes but or no but. So we have this habit, and all of us are guilty of that, where, if two people are chatting, one person is finished talking, and you will start your sentence by saying, but have you thought about this problem? This is not the occasion of discarding ideas, right? This is the occasion of getting more ideas. So the good way to deal with that situation is say yes and. So you thought of this, okay, and I think we can do even this on top of it so that your idea becomes even stronger. And encourage wild ideas. It's fine if somebody says we want to open a bank account in the metaverse. Nobody knows, we might be doing that in the next 5 years, and whoever we laughed at today will be the next genius. So no idea is a bad idea. And do not bring implementation into discussion. So don't say that, oh, our tech people can't make this, ye to nahi bata sakte. Like that is not permitted. You will say okay to all the ideas. So barring tech, everything, because this is a brainstorm. And then everybody needs to present their ideas in a certain format, which is first tell us which problem you're solving. What is your solution perspective? Like from which angle are you looking at this problem? And then what is your idea? And give us a sketch or something to depict this idea so that we know better about this with your, like with your visuals. So this is how an ideation workshop goes. And then prototyping is basically done in many ways. We either do sketches or we do wireframes are black and white designs, where the color is not there but all the functionalities are there, and we just stitch it together in a storyline so that we can test it. So one is, we can do a storyline. We can say that, okay, these are the this is the whole journey of Rakesh, who is buying health insurance, and what does he go through in each of the steps. Or we can do screens sketched in a journey and talk about what will come up as you move forward in this journey. Or we'll do actual digitized screens and show those to our users. Uh, One of the biggest exercises that lots of companies struggle with, and this is where their product roadmaps come out of, is the prioritization exercise. So now you're sitting on 20 feature ideas. Everybody in the room knows you can't build them all because it's going to take a lot of time, effort, money, everything. So you decide which ones you want to move forward with in your minimum viable product, your MVP. And that time you go with the ideas that are high impact and high feasibility. Can we make this from a tech point of view? Yes. And is this going to make our users' life drastically better? Yes. If the answer to these two questions is yes, design that and develop that feature right away. If any of the two answers are no, park that for future. Maybe feasibility becomes possible in the future, like, it's too technologically heavy and we can't lift that weight today. Make it another time. But if there are ideas which are high on feasibility but impact is like, okay, like it's not that exciting that the user will go gungo about it. So in that case, you decide whether your competitor has that. If your competitor has it, make it, because at least then you will not be subpar from your competitor, because it's high feasibility, you're able to make it. So we do this matrix and help people understand what they should build today and what ideas should they park for future. And a lot of futuristic ideas come out which help them make a product roadmap, and that's one of the greatest outputs that can come out of a design thinking workshop, which is having a roadmap for your product for the future of 4 years, 5 years. And the testing phase is simple. You need to put your ideas and designs and screens in front of other users, in front of real people, and take feedback. And that's why we call design iterative, because you've never had it fully done. You need to show it to people, they need to be able to use it, and only then it's actually done. So that's how we close the loop on the process, which is by testing the idea. I'm going to take a pause here. I've been talking for a while. Please jump in and ask me something.
Aryan just asked this question, I think, out of humor. Do you show this to your clients or to the internal teams?
Sorry, which one? Um, the matrix. Aryan, could you explain your question?
He's saying, are you showing this only to us or you also mean it to show it to the clients also?
This,
Like, do you?
yeah, so many of our clients have seen this, like bundles of slides from this deck. So this is a combination of many design thinking presentations that we have. We also use this to make it an icebreaker in our clients' environments, because sometimes you have a lot of cross-functional teams brought together in a room, and a lot of people don't like each other in that room. But to make them work together, it's important to break the ice for them and do some fun activities with them, put them into groups. So yeah, we very much do this with all of our clients.
Questions,
If we,
anyone?
yeah, any questions?
Hi,
Hi,
Aksha.
Aksha. Please go ahead, Puno.
Hey, thanks. Aksha, one quick question. Whatever you were sharing right now, very, very interesting. And, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Uh, how do you take a brief from a client? Like what is the way forward for any of my client? If I think, that we want to utilize, you and your expertise, and how is that, like what is the kind of brief that we would be discussing? How do we move forward and, take that understanding?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, because that's where we become slightly different from, the other agency counterparts. Like, we're not happy with a one pager, two pager brief, because it doesn't give us the full picture. So we often use the one, two pages to do the proposal for the client. And in the proposal, what we do is we try and include all our steps of design. So on day one, they're not expecting, design screens from us. What they're expecting is to participate in the process with us. So our proposals are also structured in such a way where we say that the first 3 to 4 weeks will be discovery. And what discovery means is we will come into your office, or we'll meet at a common place, and we will do this ideation together, what we call as a kickoff workshop. Uh, it's a part of the paid activity, which is after the clock on the time has begun. So that's when we open up their written brief into more smaller parts, and we analyze the problem statements with them. We also request them to have product side counterparts who will do this with us, because it's a super collaborative process. We don't take any such decisions on behalf of our clients. We involve them in our process, and we expect them to feedback us constantly. We do daily stand ups, we do all of these weekly ceremonies where we're moving the product forward, but without, not without their, like, we never go with a big presentation and say this is what your brand needs. We go with small many presentations and say this is what we've discovered. So the relationships are slightly different. And the brief aspect, we can use a brief and come up with a proposal, but we can't use a brief and come up with a solution.
Aksha, generally there would be a goal, or where the brand wants to reach in a year or 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily be a problem statement, but probably we just want to be futuristic ready. Right, in that scenario, is there a way that we can connect first before adding the brand, or the larger team at the client end, and we understand that how this whole thing can be driven?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, if you're talking about a pitch process where we ideate amongst ourselves first and then go to the client with some ideation. We could do that, but uh, many of those ideas won't be executable because we don't actually know the barriers of the clients right at that point. So they will be preemptive ideas, and they will be sort of ideas that we don't even know business is looking for. So it can get the ball rolling, but it's a good foot in the door, but it's not something that they can actually implement.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Akshay.
So, hi Aksha.
Hi.
So, Aksha, I wanted to understand if you use data to maybe even understand what the client is currently facing, and then deep dive into the client's problem, and then finally identify the root cause, and then tell to the client this is what's happening, and this is where our idea would work. So I have seen a lot of slides that are about creatives, but you know, uh, do you deal with data? That's what my question is.
Yeah, so it depends on what data the client shares access with us for. So if there are any heat maps available, or if there are any, Google Analytics data, where the page drops are mentioned, those sort of data points are definitely useful. But they will only tell us when did the user leave or where did the user click. They will not tell
Right.
us the why, and our process is very very focused on the why of the consumer. So we can use data to come up with insights, but again, to ratify those insights, there will have to be some kind of a research, or someone in the consumer facing team, like a sales team or a customer care team, will have to say that, yeah, I have got calls about this problem statement. So it's true, people are probably leaving the website at this stage because they didn't know what to do beyond this. So there are ways to ratify it, but it always involves involving the client. So the why will still be a concern.
Right. Thank you, Aksha.
Uh, Aaron mentioned that how does Fractal measure success with respect.
Sorry, your voice broke. How does Fractal measure
Yeah.
success with respect to design? Yeah, that's a beautiful question. And we actually don't do the best job at this, because oftentimes we have left by the time the development is happening and the product is being released in the market. We've finished the design phase and we've gone. But a lot of clients, we try to keep in touch with them afterwards, or we're starting a new project with another client inside that same organization. So we do try to get some data around. So if we've done a revamp of a e-commerce website, we try and get them to give us some conversion rates and tell us, if conversion has improved. So you can't, it's not like branding that you assume that all the effort has gone to awareness. So it is quantifiable. In fact, in product companies where designers are more in house, they literally change a button and they measure if more clicks came. It's actually possible, but the way our partnerships work with our clients, we don't have that granular data. But design should be able to give you literal conversion change on a day to day basis for every screen that you have changed. So it's totally possible to give very hard numbers, even revenue ups.
Other questions by anybody?
Uh, Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, hi, Aksha. Actually, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you so much. It has been a very insightful session. And I told Megha as well, it's just like going through a recorded session of some digital marketing course or something like that. So, thank you so much for the lovely session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Aksha, I would like to also thank you, right? for the whole insights that you have shared with us. Now we know that you don't work, but the fun that you have with your work is very real. And then I believe that we work across the same processes because experience becomes a part of an SEO SEO domain as well. So I really enjoyed the session that you presented to us. And I always say to people, if I was not in the SEO, I would really be doing design. So it was good. It was a good learning for me. Thank
Very
you.
happy to hear that, and it's never too late.
Definitely,
I
for sure.
will, after this session, I will leave our credentials deck with y'all, just so y'all can browse and see what type of work we do. We work with a lot of e-commerce, real estate clients, with a lot of banking and insurance clients. So it'll basically give you a good idea of what type of clients, if they need any kind of digital platform like a interface, like whether it's a wall touch screen or a app for the iWatch, or if it's a mobile app or any kind of interface that requires any interaction. We've had experience working with all of those, uh, and we'd love to get involved. So if you all ever hear a brief that sounds like we'd be able to help on, so please get in on that.
A couple of more minutes, and there are two more questions.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think you've
absolutely.
already got two offers already. I think Mukram is, I think, silently said, मुझे आपके साथ काम करना है. And another one of my teammates has said, what is the core skill set that you look at if someone wants action?
So Pooja, you're raising some eyebrows, but core skill set, I would say, is a lot of our people. So we are around 120 people, and out of them, easily 100 would be designers. So some kind of a base design degree. And over that, if there are any other courses in psychology or user research or any other, streams that make this creative more insightful, is what we look for in our people. But generally what we look for are great thinkers. So if you are a great thinker, just call us anyway.
Great. I think Ahmed also had one question.
Yeah.
Hi, Aksha. Fractal does the technology and design aspect of a project, or does it only does the UA UI part of the project and technology part is done by some other company?
Yeah, so we don't have any tech expertise in house. We are only a design outfit. What we can, though, do is a lot of product strategy in the beginning phases. So we've also done projects where there were zero screens designed. All we did was feature derivation with our clients and figuring out cross-selling, upselling opportunities based on their product capabilities in house. So we've done a lot of strategy work and a design work, but for development, we partner with Merkle Socrates. It's a great team based out of Pune, and we pitch a lot of client. We do a lot of pitches together and approach clients together. We also have a few other outside Dentsu tech partners. So there are a lot of clients who come and say that we don't want to worry about anything. We want one point of contact, in which case we are happy to lead it end to end, put our own project managers on the thing, and get the tech and the design done for them. But in-house expertise is only design.
Great. Any other questions?
And also I'm on Teams, so feel free to just ping me and check if we'd love to get involved in any upcoming pitches or projects. Just a word would be enough as well.
Great. I don't think there are any set of questions, and if they are, I think you guys can now reach directly to Aksha. She's there. Thank you so much, Aksha. It was really an interesting session. I think you've opened a lot of windows. I think you'll get a lot of CVs if nothing else after this.
I'm very excited for that. Thank you so much
So
for
much.
some very nice questions as well. Most of them were mind benders, because those are problems we also face in our lives. So Glad you all could participate today. And I totally wasn't expecting such a big crowd. So thank you so much for taking time out. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.